Parshas, Pekudei Chazak. Here we are, just about to finish Chumash Shemois. It seems like we just began Chumash Shemois, but now we've learned so much, and this week, Shabbos Chazak. The Medrash Tanchuma tells us, Omer Rabbi Chia Bar Yosef, Kol Shivas Yemei Miluim. Rabbi Chia Bar Yosef said, all 7 days of the Shivas Yemei Miluim, Moshe Rabbeinu would take the Mishkan down, take it apart, 2 times every single day. Twice a day, Moshe Rabbeinu would take the Mishkan down and then put it back up. And Rab Chanina says, Gimel Pa'amim. Rab Chanina said, no, they didn't take it down and put it up twice a day. They did it 3 times a day. The obvious question we need to know, what does this teach us? Why did Moshe Rabbeinu do this? Why is that? And why so many times? For 7 days, up and down, twice a day, or 3 times a day? What's going on here? The Nesivos Shalom teaches us an extremely important and a beautiful, amazing lesson based on this Medrash Tanchuma. And he says like this. We know that, and we've spoken about over the past few weeks, that the Mishkan, what the Mishkan really represents, it represents us building ourselves and our homes. We discussed how the Mishkan is really a lesson, l'doros, a lesson for us even today, and the Mishkan represents us building up ourselves and building up our homes. And all the lessons learned that we've mentioned from the different kalim and the different aspects of building the Mishkan, all those things we said apply to us in our lives and us building our homes. So Nesivos Shalom says that the Torah is teaching us an extremely vital and important lesson regarding just that. And he says like this, there are times that a person, we plan to and we attempt to, and we want to build and we want to grow in our own lives, in our personal lives. We're trying and we're attempting to grow, we want to grow. Yet, what happens sometimes? We do not succeed, and everybody knows that feeling. You work and you try and you want to, and you don't succeed. And we fail. And not only do we fail, sometimes we try to build and we fall. We want to do better. We want to change. We all have these good intentions. But what happens sometimes? Is that everything in the entire building comes down. It doesn't work. We're trying to build up. We're trying to do things in our lives. And it comes tumbling down around us. And I just have to interrupt you that somebody's trying to get in the door over there. And we're going to have to let them in. Okay. The lesson of putting up the Mishkan 2 or 3 times a day, what it teaches us that even if it falls down, and even if we're trying to build, and it comes down, even if we're actually putting in all the effort, and it's not working, what we need to do is to brush off, to get up, and attempt, and build it again. It falls down, and we fall, and we fail, but what you do is, you attempt, you go, and once again, you build it up again. You cannot give up. And even after the entire binyan has come down, Zok Nesivos Shalom, you could and you should start over. And in doing that, says in Nesivos Shalom, of Baboiker Uva Erev, and it says that Moshe Rabbeinu did the Mishkan and he built it up again, he took it apart and he built it up, Baboiker Uva Erev, that teaches us, and it alludes to the building during the light and dark times of our personal lives. And if your bias, your binyan, is not roy for Hashras Hashchina right now, you know what? You could be makabel things on yourself, and the next time you build it, when you build it back up, you have to be willing to change the things and accept the Ratzon Hashem. No matter how many times you take it apart, and no matter how many times it falls down, and no matter how many times you think that things are not working out in your life, once again, you brush yourself off, you pick yourself up and you do it. What an important lesson. What a vital lesson for every single person to know. That we took apart, Moshe Rabbeinu took apart the Mishkan when we were in spring training. It was the week before, the Shivas Yimei Miluah, Moshe Rabbeinu took apart the Mishkan 2 or 3 times a day and he built it back up. You know why? He did that to show us that sometimes you build things and they come down. So you know what you do? You build it again. And you keep trying, and you keep trying to grow. It's a lesson that everybody should think about. You have to think about that. Nesivos Shalom teaches us another very important idea from the fact that the Mishkan was taken down and reassembled so many times. And he says like this, when you go ahead, everybody builds, you want to build a home, people get married, children, you want to go ahead and build your personal home. You know what he says? You need to constantly be checking up and making sure that things are being done correctly. You can't just get into like a routine and say, oh, it worked for me today, it's certainly going to work for me tomorrow. You have to keep doing that checkup. Go through your checklist. You have to keep checking and making sure that for your matzah, for your place where you are right now in your life, that things are going correctly. And sometimes things change, and you have to check in all the nooks and crannies and all the joints to make sure that the negative influences that are so pervading the outside world and today's society, that they're not coming in and they're not creeping into your home. And when those things creep in, they push out the hashras hashchina. Then we have to make sure that they're not lurking at the doors and in the windows and in the cracks. We have to keep checking the insulation and making sure that these outside influences are not coming and creeping into our own homes. So each time you go ahead and build, and each time you want to do something new, you need to check every aspect of your home, be it your children, or the education, or the entertainment, or whatever is going on. You have to always weigh things out and make sure that your house is still roiv hashrash hashchina, that it has a good foundation that you can build on for today, not what was good for you 10 years ago. So we're constantly taking things apart, we're checking all the joints, and then we're putting it back together. Then you can go ahead and build it once again, bigger and better and stronger. And that's what the Shivas Yimei Miluah teach us. That's what all the practicing of taking the Mishkan down and building it back up, that's what it teaches us. And this Shabbos, we know we have a especially important time to work on things. This Shabbos is Shabbos Chazak. And we're completing Sefer Shemos. We began with Golos Mitzrayim. And then we went to Geulas Mitzrayim. We left Mitzrayim, we were down and out. But then, all of us together here, we went through the entire Seder of Shemos, and we began to slowly grow together. We had a Kabbalas HaTorah. However, we know that we also had things that we felt. We had an Egel. Yes, we had Geula. We had Kabbalas HaTorah. But we also had an Egel. We have to be honest. That at some times we fell. But you know what? With that Egel, we had also, afterwards, we had a Mishkan. And overall, at the end of the day, if we weigh everything and we put in all the checks and we balance everything, we put in the good sides and the bad sides and everything, overall, we grew tremendously as a nation during the Seder Shemos. And every person during their life, says in Nesivos Shalom, the journey of your life has ups and downs. There's no question. No one's perfect. No one could tell you that their life is just up and up and up. Or very, very few unique and special tzaddikim in the world could say that everything in their life is going up. And Hashem knows. Hashem knows that you're human. Hashem knows that you're going to have your ups and downs. The point is, though, we need to know, what are your ambitions? You may not always succeed at them. What are your ambitions and what is the general direction of your life? What's the end goal? What's your end game? Where do you want to end up? Where do you end up at the end? Yes, you're going to have a bit of a hill up, a little bit down, but if you look at the graph, you want it to look like you want your stock graph to look at the end of the year, to look at your portfolio. Sometimes it goes up, it goes down a little bit, and then it goes up a little bit more. And then it may plateau a little bit and go down, but we only hope you keep going up. And that's what we see in Seder Shemos. We had our problems, we had our issues, we had our things, but where do we want to go? What's our general direction? And that's how Chumash Shemos ends. And the last pasuk of Chumash Shemois is Ki Anan Hashem al Mishkan. The Anan, the cloud, was on the Mishkan Yoimam during the day. Ve'esh tia laila boy, and there was a protective fire that was out in front of us by the Mishkan at night. You know what that teaches us? It tells us that if we stand for Kedusha and we make sure that our Mishkan is in shape and our Mishkan is doing the right thing, if we keep growing, you know what? Then we're Zoicha to the last pasuk, which is the final stamp on our home. Our Mishkan is our home. We're talking about our home. We're Zoicha then to that Shmira, the Shmira of the Anan and the Shmira of the Eish. Let us grow and be strong, and let's hope that we're all Zoicha to the Ashras HaShechina and Zoicha to Chazak, Chazak, V'nis Chazek.